Okay, so this sort of presentation we kind of have put together for the clubs, because we've been going around and talking to all the clubs about how the Game Day app will work for the 2019 season. So we're going to skip over a few slides. Some of them don't relate to you guys at all. But effectively, the app comes about with a change from New Zealand Rugby's perspective, that there is now a national draws competition software that's used for every single union throughout New Zealand, and that's called SKED. And SKED is a piece of software which reacts really, it's a really integrated piece of software that when people register online with their clubs, they get put into teams in Team Builder and Sporty. Those teams are entered into the draws competition software package, so that the draws people know what teams are being entered for the year. They create their draws, the draws go into the app. The app feeds out results, shoots out results, you enter results for your games, and it feeds back out into the Hawke's Bay Rugby website. So pretty much any changes being made are instantly accessible to everybody. So on a Saturday morning, if the draws convener for junior rugby finds out that Tamatea Park's been washed out, they can go into SKED and reallocate all the games. It'll instantly update the draw for everybody, and they can send out a notification to everyone saying where their new games are. So it's a really easy piece of software for people to have instant access to things. If a game is defaulted or cancelled, you can update that through the SKED software. It instantly changes on the draws. It shows in a big bright red line that the game's being defaulted or cancelled. So before all your games, you can go in and check. The other thing is anything that gets done in the draws package also updates your app. So if you've been assigned to a game, the game time changes, your app will instantly reflect that. If the game's been defaulted, your app will instantly reflect that the game's been defaulted. So you know as soon as the draws convener knows.
Does that ping?
So there is a notifications portal. It is manually driven, so the competition administrator needs to send out a notification. So there's an ability for the draws administrator to go in and say, okay, this game's been changed from 4:30 to 6:30. They can send a notification directly to your phone. So they can say the referee for this game needs to know this, and they can just ping you with it. So we haven't actually talked to the draws conveners about that functionality in detail yet. It's only new, but that's all working, and it's a really good piece of software. So effectively, as soon as you have the Magpies app, you're going to be notified with changes when they get sent them out to you. As I spoke about, it's really seamless integration. There are, for each team, they now have a number of people that can be sideline scorers. The people that are sideline scorers effectively have the app in their hands. They'll submit their team sheets through the apps now. So instead of having a piece of paper where they write down their starting 22, they'll all submit it in the app. As soon as they've submitted that team sheet becomes available to you in your app. So you can check to see who the starting team is for each team if they've submitted it prior to the game. You can also see who they've submitted as front row players and who they've submitted as their starting 15. So all of that information is available to you as the ref before you even walk onto the field. The game scores update live on the app, so the sideline scorers from each team, whoever is the home team scorer, their scores that they're submitting as the game progresses will update to the website with a live update of the draw. So effectively anyone watching or viewing the draw's results screen will see what the live score is for all their games as they're going on. Why an app? So effectively we worked closely originally with Canterbury Rugby. They were the ones that came to the table with the wanting an idea to get rid of all their paperwork. They had so many different methods of submitting things to different people, and everyone having to say, oh, I had to send this to 5 other people, and then they had to email it to someone else, and then they had to update a piece of paper. This way kind of reduces all of that. Everyone gets the same information exactly at the same time. Keep skipping through here. So this is just to illustrate the kind of integration. So from players first registering online or for referees registering online, once you've registered online, you become an active referee in Hawke's Bay Rugby Union. You're then available to be given access to the app. They put players into their teams. The teams are created in SKED. The draw's created to their website, and then the draw populates into your phone. You update your scores on the phone, and it populates back up into the draws and results. So this is a really important piece of information for you guys as referees, is how the live scoring works and how it's going to look from an end user's perspective. So when a game is underway and being scored live, you can't really see it on the blue screen, but the score appears from the home team score and it's blue. So that's how you know it's a live score, is it, if it's blue. If both of the teams submit a different score, so say one of the teams say it was 10 to 8 and the other team says it was 10 to 7, it will show in red. So effectively we know that people have differing results. So we're going to show a red score and we're going to show the home team version of the score. Then if subsequently you guys as a referee submit a score, you're the final say. So anything that you say goes. So we're going to replace that result with a green score. So whenever a score is green, that means that either only one person from a team has submitted the score, two people have submitted a score but they both match, or the referee has submitted a score. So it's taken as a confirmed score. Any questions about that? Yeah.
If two teams submit the same score, we don't need to submit it?
You should always submit a score, so the referee should always submit their score. Yep.
So Sarah, what a situation where two teams have logged in a score that they believe right, but it differs to the referee.
Yep.
So the referee's score
overrides. Absolutely. So within the competition management software, the person who runs the competition can see exactly what every single person submitted. So they can say, okay, Taradale submitted this, Tex submitted this, the ref submitted this. So they can see exactly who scored what tries and what each person said scored what tries. So all of that information is visible to them. If standings tables are set to display, as soon as the score is marked as confirmed and it's gone to green, the standings table instantly updates as well. So on a Saturday afternoon, 5 o'clock, when all the results are in, standings tables are live updated, so you don't need to wait until Monday or Tuesday to see who's top of the table.
What about, can it calculate bonus points? So do we need to put the number of tries on?
No, yes, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So the competition software package has a number of different scoring templates depending on the grade. So I'm assuming you guys use your standard 7 points, bonus for 7.
Less than 8, and 4 trials. Yeah,
exactly. Yep. So as soon as your score's put in and it calculates with that, and so you'll get given bonus points automatically. So this doesn't really pertain to you guys. Probably that last one might. So let's talk about getting the app in the first instance. When you get access to the app, you'll get an email from us. The email will go to the email address that you registered with. So if you've registered as a ref this year and you don't have access to that email account, you need to contact the union and make sure they change your email address so that it's one that you have access to. If you don't have a Sporty login, which you probably don't, you'll get an email. It'll say this is your username, it'll be your email address, and it'll say click here to set a password. So you click on that email, set yourself up a password, then you'll get a little message that says, okay, you're now good to log into the app. So you simply log into the app using your email address and the password that you set. You'll remain logged into the app until either you uninstall the app or you do something crazy and log out or something like that. But your username's almost always going to be your email address, and there's a big forgot password link on the login screen as well in case you do forget your password. So once you've got your access, you then need to download the app. So we're downloading the Magpies app. So Doc was just speaking about the Sporty NZ app, which had the Hawke's Bay Rugby Referees Association loaded on it. Scoring must be done through the Magpies app. So really important there that you guys download the Magpies app. You log in. This is the screen that you're presented when you first get there. You've got a little icon with a little padlock here called Officials. When you touch that icon, it'll bring this login screen up here. So it's got a username field, going to be your email address, and a password, which is going to be the password that you've set up. Important to know, the first time that you log in, unless there's been a game assigned to you as a referee, you're not going to see anything in the app. So there's nothing to see until you have a game assigned to you. So you might first log in and you might not see anything. You'll only see games once they've been published and they've been assigned to you.
That's the last game I done.
This doesn't relate to you. This is the teams. So effectively the teams can submit a game day team. So they can select from... They have a squad of players that they can select from. So say, you normally pick your starting 22 from your Premier squad, but you might maybe choose a couple of Colts players to play in your Premier squad for that day. So teams can pick players from different squads to make up their game day team. So effectively they can submit to their game day team. They can assign whether or not those players have numbers assigned against them or whether or not they don't. So obviously your juniors, they might not have numbers on them. For your seniors, to be expecting they're going to have, numbers 1 through to 22 likely. They can submit to, so say as an example, you have a lock. That's your starting lock, would normally wear your number 4, but he's really big, so he wears your number 21 jersey. The team can submit the starting lock to be a starting player, but also wearing the number 21 jersey. So when you open your app as a referee, this is the main screen that you're going to see here. So it's going to have the 2 teams that are playing each other at the top. It's going to list them here. It's going to give you the date of the game, the time of the game, and where the game's being played. So as a referee, you can touch on these logos for either team, and if the team has submitted their game day team, that will populate for you on your phone, so you can scroll through and see who the players are that are going to be playing that game. So it'll list their player number, it'll show if they're a starting player, it'll show if they're a front row player, and it'll give you kind of all the information that you need. If the player has dispensation, it'll have a little red asterisk next to the name, so you'll know if someone's a really big guy playing in a junior level, he's got a red asterisk, he's probably okay. As a ref, you'll obviously be scoring your games through the app. So with Canterbury Rugby last year, they obviously didn't take their phones on the field with them. They still took their pen and their piece of paper and their pencil. But after the game, they went up and they pulled open the app straight after the game and they started submitting their score. So to score a game, you've got a little button down here in the right-hand corner, say score game. Really simple. You click on it and then you click start. Kind of seems a bit weird for you guys because you're not actually timing the game, so it'll start a timer for the game. It doesn't matter what time the game events are from your perspective, so it's likely you're going to start putting in 3 tries to one team, 1 try to another team, and it's going to say they all happened at the first minute of the game. That's absolutely fine. We don't need to know what time those events occurred, but from a club's perspective it might be really important to them for their stats collecting that they know that they always score all of their tries in the second half of a game, something like that. So once you click score game, you'll be on the screen here. You click the blue start button at the bottom, and then you click the buttons that relate to what events happened within the game. So if you click try, it'll automatically put the score to 5-0. Click try for the other team, and the score will be 5-5. You have conversion and penalty, so your 3 main kind of items are included in these buttons. And then you have a more option. Get into the more option in just a second. When you click a game event, so say as an example here, we've clicked try, this particular team has submitted a game day team, and they'll see that Gerald Allen is playing a number 1 jersey, Adam Beasley's playing a number 2 jersey, so from a club's perspective, they can nominate what player scored what try. Obviously as a ref, I'm not sure if you guys keep that information, but if you do, you can obviously submit it, or the first option that you have is just NA, so you can just hit try, conversion, penalty. That's it, that's all you need to do. So it's really, really straightforward. If you click the more option here, it gives you an option to add differing game events that aren't kind of your normal game events. So your drop goals, penalty tries, yellow, red and blue cards, you can also submit them via the app. So not only do you submit the form with the detailed game events about the report, you can also submit it via the app as well and nominate who the player was, when it happened, etc.
Do we have to do that?
The blue, red, yellow.
So if we have a yellow card on here, do we have to do that, or can we just do the form and that's done?
From my understanding, I think Hawke's Bay Rugby would like you to do it through the app. But,
Yeah, they would. So, talking to Gary today, they would like to, the first is to identify things like a blue, yellow or red card via the app, and then you've got the paperwork to follow through on.
So this is just right, like yellow card.
That's it.
Like,
Yep, so
Yep.
it's just a click of a button. Yeah,
No, not at all.
nothing like that. So yeah.
But it's an identification on the app that you've got, the referee's got a blue card, a yellow card or a red card in that game.
Once you've finished submitting your events, it'll look something like this. Obviously, again, this screen is coming from a team's perspective, where they've been scoring it as the game's been progressing. It's more than likely yours will say try at 1 minute, try at 2 minutes, try at 3 minutes, and then 3 conversions. When you're finished submitting your game events that make up the final score of the game, you simply press stop pause, And then you have this option here, which will ask you, do you want to pause the game, select if it's half time, or full time submit your score. So most likely you're just going to click full time submit your score, which will take you to the final screen, which is where you can add a comment about the game. So this comment is private. The only person that can see this is Hawke's Bay Rugby. So this can be any information about the game, like they were terrible, the field was crap, they shouldn't be in this grade.
Just on that, guys, that actually is a key driver for Gary in terms of if you had spectator abuse, you had, basically serious on-field issues, then that's a driver for him to talk to you. So, and obviously the groupies. So definitely if it's warranted, you put a remark into that box.
So again, this is not your incident report. You still need to fill in your incident report, but here it gives you another piece of feedback that you can provide back to Hawke's Bay Rugby in relation to your game. Once you've scored the game, it's always going to appear green for you. So in this view, sometimes that might appear red for the clubs if they both have sent a different score, but it's always going to be green because you've got the final say. You've made the score confirmed. You can click View Score to go back through and see what you submitted, and it also gives you a timestamp of when you submitted it, what time it was and what day it was. So we have all the information about exactly what time you submitted the score, who you gave game events to, and all that kind of stuff. On the Hawke's Bay Rugby website, as soon as the score's been submitted in the app, it automatically updates the results. If someone has the results page open, obviously they'll see the live scoring going on. It'll be blue until it turns green, which means that it's confirmed. In this particular example, I think was just talking about when it's a disputed score. I lost it completely.
Thank you.
I think we're done anyway. It's really straightforward. Like one of the best pieces of feedback we had last year from Canterbury Rugby was that a lady was really concerned about the app, but she gave the app to her 5-year-old, and her 5-year-old was like, "Here's how you do it, mum." Like, so if you don't know, give it to a kid, they'll probably be able to figure it out for you. So I've got my phone here in case you guys are interested now while we have had this discussion about how the app works. I've got a couple of test fixtures in here, so you can come up and grab the phone, have a look and see how you can, so as an example, I'm going to click here on the Pirates team. It's going to now show me the game day team that was submitted, so I can see all of their players. I can see what numbers they've had submitted against them. If they were a starting player, they'd have a little grey option in the corner here, and if they're a front row player, it would be listed underneath their picture. So my understanding is that Hawke's Bay Rugby are going to request that all Premier Reserve and Women's teams, I think, have players, have photos taken. So obviously really good for you as a ref to look at before the game and know, okay, here's my 5 front rowers. Yep, that's the 5 people that you've submitted as front rowers on your team sheet.
We trialled it at the end of last
year,
only a couple of times. One of the things Sean got us to do was, or the teams to do, was submit their team. Was only Prems.
Yeah.
But submit their team before a certain time, so that we didn't have to go back and keep checking our phone to see if they've submitted their team card.
Yeah.
So does this now replace the team card, or are the managers still going to give us a team card to hold on to for the game?
No.
So no team card?
No team card.
Okay. So do we have to, we don't have to sign anything then either? Okay.
No.
Just that?
That's right, yeah. So all you'll need is the phone. Yep. The app will work when you're offline, so effectively you can score the game even if you have no data connection or internet connection, and then just as soon as you go back into Wi-Fi, it'll update the score. So fairly straightforward. Again, clicking the button brings up the other team sheet. These ones here, they've submitted numbers against them, and they've got the little starting and front row toggles next to their players. Score game opens up that screen, click start, click try, I don't know who it was, click try, don't know who it was, submit my score, that's it, I'm done. That's my whole game match report done. Yeah. So really, really simple, really straightforward. That's the plan anyway. If you guys have any questions or if there is anything that doesn't work for you, obviously that's what we're here for, to make sure it's a really nice and easy experience for you. As I said, more than happy to put through a couple of test fixtures for you so that you can go in and have a play with scoring games. Just pop a little asterisk next to your name there and I'll send you an email and you'll get that access email, and that will be your access email, the username that you use for the whole season. So it'll be your email address that you're registered with as a ref. That's it.
So just a quick question.
Yes.
Before we talked about your team identification,
Yes.
is there an asterisk on front row replacements?
The front row replacements have the front row text on their name, so it doesn't state that they're a front row replacements, but just that they are a front rower. So there isn't anything which specifies.
So you could have a number 4, for example,
Yes,
popping into to basically be the hooker.
that's correct. Yep. So any player, any number, can have the front row label against them to identify them as a front row player. Yeah, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. So the app has a lot of smarts within it. So as an example, if you submit a team and you submit someone with a player number 1, 2, 3, 16 or 17, it's automatically going to identify them as a front row player. But the person using the app can say, no, actually those aren't my front rowers. My front rowers are 18, 19, 20 and 21. So they have that access, but effectively we tried to build it so it's as simple as possible and there's as little administrational work that people need to do.
And Sean was saying today the team card will list up to 25
That's
players.
right, yeah. So if you pass it around if you guys want to take a look, if anyone wants to have a look, feel free to scroll through.
So will they have trouble like getting, say if they're a development or Colts player that may be moving into a different grade, moving up with injuries and things, that'll be easy?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so the one key thing this year that is obviously changed from previous years when we weren't using an online version is that players must be registered to a club and they must be registered to a team in order to play. They can't play on the day if they're not registered to a club and put into a team. And so we've advised all the club administrators that they need to make sure they have someone available on Saturdays. If someone turns up late 10 minutes before the game and they want to play, they need to jump on. So they can register players on their mobile device on the sideline, put them into a team on the sideline, but they need to be registered and put into a team before they can take the field. I think that's it from me. Any questions from you guys at all? Yes.
Sorry, I just
That one guy.
But it's always that.
A zero time limit before that they have to, and I'm talking about Prems, but do they have to get this done before a certain time, or can we just start the game with 20 whatever and that's it for the game? Or
Yeah,
can they
that's-
rock in with 2 more halfway through the game?
We actually raised that very question today with Sean and Gary, and there will be a time frame established, but hasn't been done yet. So that kind of, from my perspective, you want to basically know your team, who's on the field or who's a reserve, way before you actually have that field as a referee.
Isn't it the night before?
No, it'll probably be, maybe an hour before the game,
I
or
think that's reasonable, an hour
Yeah.
before.
so. But that's kind of work in progress.
Because the hard bit for the teams is that, and you can understand that, is that some of those teams are normally getting up to
Yes,
10 past 5 minutes before the game because they don't know anything.
Yep, that's acknowledged with some of the kind of struggling Premier clubs, like maybe Tamatea, who'll be waiting on their reserve grade. They probably pull a few players through, or might be Colts players that they want to grab. MAC might be in the same position.
So we just start the game and whatever happens.
Oh, okay. So I would just request access and so.
Yeah, once it's lodged, it's logged. But that is one of the areas that's got a bit of grade. And those pretty much what we discussed today.
So whoever made this spreadsheet, so I'll find out.
It will be sorted.
They haven't given access to everybody instantly. You have to actually have your email address recognised as a valid email address before you can have access to it. So we'll just,
Once it's submitted, it's locked in. You can't.
we'll just let them know to open it up. Bill's icon on the Sporty NZ app, you don't need to download the Magpies app. The only issue with doing it from the Sporty NZ app instead of the Magpies custom app is that if you do not have the Magpies Customs app, you will not receive notifications. So if the draws admin says, hey, I've updated your draw, you're now at 4:30, or the fields moved, they're now in Taradale instead of Park Island, you won't get that update if you don't have the Magpies app. So do make sure you have the Magpies app and you log in on that one.
Are our appointments going to be on this app? Or is it just going to be the last minute updates of that?
No.
Alright.
Appointments will be in the same manner that
Same
we do
as
now.
they were, okay.